I'm grateful for the opportunities that it will have for us. Lord, I thank you for these men and women who give of their time and themselves to lead our city. Lord, I pray that not just tonight, but throughout the year, you would bless them, that you would lead them. Lord, I pray that they would turn to you for wisdom. And we pray for unity, we pray for peace. Lord, I pray that tonight's meeting would be a great start to a new year, and we would see great things to come. In the name of Christ, amen.
Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to item number 4, the Citizens Forum, or 4A, the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims made against the city, council members, or employees, as well as individual personnel appeals, are not appropriate for the Citizens Forum. If anyone wishing to speak would like to come forward, please sign in and state your name for the council.
I don't do that.
Louise Mosley, 3915 Shannon. I wanted to address the item number 19. It states, discuss and take action on changing the language of the Citizens Forum. It doesn't say that there's going to be open discussion from the citizens. I was here when they had the open forum when there was an electricity problem. But this is on the freedom of speech, and yet we have no freedom to interact with the decision. I think that is very unfair. I've been here and I have seen that if it's in your favor or what you like, you allow people to applaud. But if you do not like the people's opinion, then you say there's no applauding. I watched Mr. Pickle give you a birthday cake, and there was a lot of applauding, and not one time did you say stop the applauding. So it's at your discretion that there is applauding allowed. Tonight, when you say that there's no names to be called, then if you put those regulations on us, then the regulations will be to you also. And I don't see how you could have a council to conduct business if you do not name names. You would be sitting up there talking, but no one would be understanding what you were saying. So I think it's very important that we name names of people that we are disappointed in their decisions, because this is America and we are free and we have the freedom of speech. I watched over the weekend Paris, France, holding freedom. And I think we need to sit here and honor our freedom and have freedom of speech. Also, I think that the selling of any land on the airport is not in our benefit. We don't need to be selling any land. Land is something that we can't replace, and it's not to our benefit to sell anything that Paris has. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? If not, we'll close the Citizens Forum and move on to item 4B, proclamation recognizing Augustine's public art contribution to downtown Paris. And before I start on this, I just want to say a quick personal note that I think we need to realize that too often we get caught up in the negativity and excuse making and proactive, and I think this is a really good example of someone embracing their community and wanting to give back in a proactive manner and trying to be positive instead of continually criticizing those that are also trying to do the same thing. So with that, August, if you want to come forward, that'd be great. And then at the end, if you'd like to say anything, that'd be welcome as well. Whereas downtown Paris possesses many unique architectural, historical, and cultural treasures worthy of being saved, enjoyed, and improved. Far too many young people in Paris and other smaller communities leave their hometowns and never return, taking their talents and passions elsewhere. August Hunt, the son of Richard and Claudia Hunt, and a Paris native, grew up with historic downtown Paris as his playground. After August graduated high school in 2013, he moved to study fine arts in New York, first at the Kildonan School in Amenia and then at the Cooper Union in Manhattan. August was inspired by French artist J.R.'s photo mural and developed an idea to make a difference at his own school with a similar project, giving dyslexic a voice, using photos and dyslexic students at the school of Kildonan. August did not forget his hometown, but wanted to bring arts and culture here, to bring new life and to an otherwise unattractive area, to help revitalize downtown with an impactful art project that brought the original Paris history to life. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Matt Frierson, on behalf of this entire city of Paris, do hereby express our deepest appreciation to August Hunt for sharing his love of art in downtown Paris through the wonderful series of murals that he researched, created, and installed, and for making all of Paris a better place to call home.
I just want to say thank you, everyone, for giving me the opportunity to install the murals. And as you can see, they've brought a lot of attention, and I'm very proud that everyone has enjoyed them. So thank you so much.
Okay, great. With that, we move on to the consent agenda. Does anyone on the council have anything to discuss that needs to be removed from the consent agenda? If not, I'll take a motion to approve.
Wait, got just one question.
Okay.
And it really doesn't refer to the financials as much as the sales tax money that we got, the $850,000 that we just got. When will it show up?
December.
Okay, that was all I wanted to ask.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I'll take a motion to approve.
I'd make the motion.
Motion made by Dr. Hashmi. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Lancaster. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to the regular agenda. Janice, if you don't mind.
Yes. Item 15 is receive a presentation from Sahel Prakash about Project Pedal On.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Sahil Prakash, and I'm an 8th grader at Paris Junior High School. You might remember me from 2 years ago. I was here presenting Project Bike. I created Project Bike to promote safety in Paris. This year, my goal is to get more people on bikes, and that's why I created Project Pedal On. Project Pedal On is dedicated to increase bicycle riding resources in Paris so that more people can ride their bike. The goal of Project Pedal On is to make Paris a bike-friendly town, and I hope to make Paris Bike Town, Texas. As we all know, bike riding is very beneficial. The main benefit is the health benefit. Obesity rates are very high in Texas, and riding a bike will definitely decrease the obesity rates. Riding a bike is also good for the environment because it doesn't pollute the air, and it's also very cheap to ride a bike because you don't need fuel. Let me tell you what I've done so far with my project. To educate citizens in Paris about benefits of bike riding and bicycle safety, I created bookmarks and brochures which I've distributed at various local community events. A few months ago, I partnered with Lamar Delta Medical Society, and we passed out over 100 helmets to kids at the Family Fun Center. I've met with Mr. Napier and Mr. Frussi to discuss increasing bicycle riding resources in the town, such as bike lanes and bike racks. I've had several discussions with Mr. Napier about more bike lanes in town, and there's currently construction going on in this particular area, and this lane would connect the trail to Clarksville Street. Safe Route to School has provided funding to build more bike lanes and sidewalks in town, and this is their mission, the 5 E's: evaluation, engineering, education, encouragement, and enforcement. I can help with the education and encouragement. I can educate citizens about the new bike lanes and sidewalks, and I can encourage them to go ride on them. I need help from the City Council to approve and utilize funds to complete this project, which would connect local schools with bike lanes. This is a bike trail map of Paris, Texas. And as you can see, this is Trail de Paris, and it's a great resource for riding your bike. However, I'd like to see more bike lanes in the city so that people can ride their bike to work or to school, to downtown, or even to go shopping. Trail de Paris is a great resource to ride your bike in Paris, and Mr. Earl Erickson was instrumental in building the trail. The goal is to be 130 miles long, and I can help spread the word by informing citizens about this great resource we have in Paris. The Parks and Recreation Master Plan was created in 2013, and it identified a need for more bike lanes in town and also a need to connect schools, parks, and businesses together. It also stated that more bike racks were needed in town, and 65% of respondents that were surveyed agreed to this. I need help from the City Council to help release and utilize funds to achieve the goals above. 2 years ago, I worked with Police Chief Hunley with Project Bike, and this year we're discussing about maybe starting a bike reclamation project and an anti-theft program, but we haven't worked out the details yet. I'd like the City Council to consider creating a proclamation regarding a Bike to Work Day. I'd like it to be in the month of May because May is National Bike Month, and it would show solidarity and commitment to bike riding. 2 years ago, I held a bike rodeo in Paris, and it was a huge success. Over 75 kids attended, and each of them got a free helmet. And I'm planning to hold another rodeo sometime in the next few months. I've also created a Facebook page called Project Pedalon, and I've created my own website. As you can see, I'm very passionate about bike riding, and thank you very much for having me here.
Sure, you bet. Does anyone have any questions of Mr. Prakash? No? Well, on behalf of the council, thank you so much, and your continued interest in giving back is well taken. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Okay, great. Ms. Ellis, item 16.
Discuss and act on a resolution
Can I say one
accepting.
thing?
Sure.
Since it's not placed on the agenda, I'd like to ask to place on the agenda so that what he has recommended to the Bike to Work in May, if we can put it so that the council can bring it back on the agenda and discuss and make a motion on that at that point. So on a future agenda, if we can put that on.
Okay. Great.
Okay, item 16, discuss and act on a resolution accepting from the Federal Aviation Administration a surplus property release of 12.662 acres of land at Paris Coxfield Airport, situated within the limits of the City of Paris, County of Lamar, and State of Texas, part of the William Scott Survey number 856, and being a part of a called 1,552.97 acre tract of land conveyed to the City of Paris by deed recorded in Volume 308, page 287 in the deed records.
Mr.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This particular item deals with approving or accepting a release from FAA through TxDOT Aviation of 12.662 acres of property at Cox Field. The property is on the northwest side of the airport, if you're kind of familiar with that, where AgPro is. Actually, back in 1972, the 10 acres that AgPro sits on now was also done this way as a release from the FAA and sold to them to start their business. And kind of what they hope to do is to expand their current business by adding this additional 12 acres of land, 12 plus acres, and expand their business. They've got a large overseas market, and they're needing to basically increase production, and they want to do that at this side in Paris. So that's kind of the whole, as you kind of read here, that's the crux behind this. And they did make, they have talked, at least sent information to the city requesting this be done, and we've kind of followed through that arduous process of dealing with FAA and actually getting a release from them.
Okay. Anyone have any questions of Mr. Napier?
I have one.
And I do too.
Okay.
The airport board has approved or is in support of this?
Yes, they are.
That was my question.
They keep asking me when it's going to happen.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Get that in.
Dr. Hashmi?
I have a couple of questions. My first question to you is, what do they propose? What are they planning to do on the land?
They're actually proposing to build additional warehouse or additional facilities to increase production. We actually have a. This is what AgPro had actually sent to us, and I'll pass this around. But the blue hatched area you can kind of see, which is through here and up and over, that is the area that they're the 12.662 acres. And you can kind of see, I'll pass this around, you can see what exactly they plan on expanding into those areas.
Sean, what I'm asking in reality is there construction on that site? Or is
Most
it,
definitely, yes, sir.
and what kind of construction is it? And what is their investment on that?
I'm not sure the exact dollar investment that they plan on making.
It's about 1.4 million.
Is that one?
Okay. In the form of building?
Construction, yes, buildings.
Okay. I'm just wondering, I think it's a great idea, but what I was wondering was that would it be acceptable to them to give them a long-term lease on it with a minimal amount rather than us sell the property? Would it be an acceptable thing to them, supposing we say that we lease them for 50 years for $1 or whatever they are comfortable with, but the city not part its ownership of the property?
They actually have the property leased currently for ag and several other different things. As far as they have, I believe, 400 something acres leased. They've got the entire north end of the airport leased right now.
Yeah.
But I think it had to do with getting money, getting a loan from a bank, and I believe that's what it had to do with them. And John, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we did ask that question, and that's the response we got, is it would be a hard time for them to get a loan on property that they did not own.
Even if the city says that, 50 years is a long-term lease, or even if it's a longer lease than 50 years, if there is a concern that the city will want it back. But I think to part ownership of land that we eventually want to develop into something, I think if we can at least question them that if the bank doesn't have a problem with a long-term lease from the city, if they can build the same thing as long as they're comfortable with it, by the city giving them a long-term lease for minimal amount of money rather than us sell the property.
In the past, when we've met with them, they were not comfortable with that. They expressed a specific desire to purchase the property. They didn't want to invest that kind of money, and also this is just a phase one expansion. They hope to have multiple expansions in the future. And they didn't want to spend that kind of money, good or bad, it's their business, on property that they didn't own outright, and neither did their financial folks want to do that. As far as long-term use of the property, of course, in our master plan, this is the kind of thing we want to have out there. So to save the land for development, this is what we've been saving it for, frankly. So we think it's a really good idea, too.
Now, if they are planning to expand, that means that they'll take further land over there? Is that what you're saying?
No, they're saying they're not going to fill up this whole extra 10 acres yet. They've got, I forget now, 3 or 4 phases that they plan to build, hope to build over the years. They're building just phase one right now.
Personally, I would still favor them to take it, but if they can, yes, please. But if we can question them about if they wouldn't mind taking a long-term lease, as long as the bank doesn't have a problem with it, and as long as they don't feel insecure with a $1.4 million investment on city-owned property.
If you want, we can go ahead, and I'm not proposing this, but this is something you can do if you choose to do. Of course, this is just to accept what we got from FAA, which doesn't bind us to do anything other than accept that. And then the next agenda item, which is the same thing, of course, is to actually declare it surplus. That allows us to start advertising for bids, because it's a public property and it has to be advertised for bids. We can go ahead, if you would, approve both of those items tonight, and then right away we'll contact them and say, you know, this is another different option. Are you still not interested, or can we do that? If that's the council's preference to look at that, or we can bring it back to you. But anyway, I would suggest, rather than holding it up for 2 weeks or 4 weeks, can we go ahead and give us permission to proceed, and then we'll report back to you at the next council meeting to see what they say.
Any other comments from the council?
If it's leased from the city, do they still pay the property taxes?
Yeah, it kind of depends on the lease agreement. Rarely, you can pass that on to someone else, but because it's owned by the city, it would be there's a few exceptions, but not to go into law stuff, probably they would not pay taxes, no.
So they would just get the benefit of it for a year, and we wouldn't, I mean, for $1, and we wouldn't get anything.
No, they pay property taxes on the improvements, not the land, and that
Right.
would be and that wouldn't be a big difference, you know, either way. The land's not worth that much to begin with, but no, probably
But
not.
it's money.
Right.
I have a question.
Mr. Plata?
Have they said any new jobs, how many jobs that's going to create, if any?
Something like 8 to 12, not very many up front.
That's good.
Yeah, it will sure take them. And the good thing about that, not to get off the subject, but just while I'm talking anyway and wasting your time, this is a local homegrown business that does international sales. So most people never have heard of AgPro out there, but they're a great business to have in our community. And so we're really happy that they're growing and doing well.
Well, and we got the dairy as a result of AgPro.
Ms. Lancaster?
Even if we go through with all of this, you still have to put it out for bids.
That's correct.
Guarantee that somebody else would waltz in and get the property.
Yeah, there's not. If somebody bids higher, then you're as the council, you're required to do one of two things: sell it to whoever bids the highest, or not sell it at all. You're not, once you advertise, you're not obligated to sell it, but you are obligated to give it to the highest bidder. So if somebody else decided to bid higher than them and take it out from under them, they could do that.
Could we then look at a lease option?
Sure could at that point. Absolutely. Yeah, then you really should, I think.
Anyone else? Well, for what it's worth, I think that John hit the nail on the head there, that the development out there, this is the kind of development we're looking for. So if this is a good way to help our business partners grow their business, we need to certainly be mindful of that. So with that, I'll take a motion on this item if there's no further discussion.
So moved.
I make a motion, to accept I was going to read it, but you go ahead.
I'll just make a motion to approve it as presented.
All right, got a motion from Mr.
Second.
Pickle, second from Dr. Grossnickel. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item number 17, Ms. Ellis.
Discuss and act on a resolution declaring city-owned property as surplus, more specifically described as 12.662 acres of land at Paris Coxfield Airport situated within the limit of the city of Paris. County of Lamar, and State of Texas, per the William Scott Survey number 856, and being a part of a called 1,552.97 acre tract of land conveyed to the city of Paris by deed recorded in volume 308, page 287 in the deed records, and authority disposition of the surplus property in accordance with state law and local law. Can't talk tonight.
Thank you. The only thing I would add to that is there was an appraisal done by Pat Murphy and Associates that came out to roughly $7,000 an acre and appraised the land at $89,000. So as John mentioned earlier, that would be the minimum bid price starting off if we sold the property.
Okay. Any other questions or discussions with Mr. Napier? Ms. Lancaster?
In putting together the plan for Cox Field, was it part of it to sell to any individuals, or was that to lease? For some, I mean, say somebody else came in and wanted to develop at Cox Field. I thought that was a lease proposition.
I think that was kind of depending on what development came along and what worked. I don't believe it was
I don't think it specifically
as
says
sale
that.
or lease, no.
Okay.
I do have a question. Does that mean that if somebody comes and wants to buy property at Cox Field to build, what do you call it, the hangars, that we'll sell them property to build hangars? Since we are now wanting to sell property, is that what we are going to do?
I think it depends on where it is. I mean, it would depend on what kind of hangar it is, where they're going to locate it, what they're going to do with it. You recently did adopt a new airport plan. If it was consistent with that, I would, off the top of my head, the kind of hangars that are up close right now, I would say no, we would not want to do that because those are really close to the terminal building and right up close to the runway. But if something was farther away, if it was an unusually good deal, then maybe, but I would say probably not.
Why not? I mean, if the plan is...
Because those are actual part of the airport operation, and this is not part of the airport operation. This is just next door to the airport. This is an industrial use next door to the airport. So it's an on-use airport, on-airport use versus a neighbor use.
Okay. I wouldn't mind favoring it as long as we have the option that we will discuss it with them, that preferably to lease this property rather than...
I'll do that, and I'll report back to you at the next council meeting for sure, if not sooner.
Okay. Any other discussion? Is there a motion on this item?
I'll make the motion as presented.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Motion from Mr. Pickles, second from Mr. Plata. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Ellis, item number 18.
Receive update on residential tax abatement program and discuss possible changes to include other areas of the city and provide direction to staff.
Can I ask one little favor? Since Mr. Cecil is here, do you think we can bring item 21 up first? If nobody has objection to it?
No, I don't think. Okay. Do we need a motion on that?
I'll make a motion to bring item 21 up.
Okay. Motion
second.
from Crosby, second from Mr. Pickle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Ms. Ellis will move item 21 up.
Just here's the statistics that provided for you previously, and 58 applications so far, 30 denied for the.
Can we just give them a
listed
little update of what this plan was?
there. Okay, yeah. The notion was, I guess it was about a year ago, a little more than a year ago.
Yeah.
Dr. Hoshby put together a group of local bankers, financial folks, and met with them, and Ms. Lancaster met with us as well over a series of several meetings. And the idea was that it's good to tear down these old houses that are falling apart and looking really bad, but it's better to save them so that you don't have to tear them down. And so the idea was to create a loan guarantee program whereby we set aside money from the pool that otherwise would have gone to demolish buildings in an attempt to save them. And
Not my fault.
and so these loans would be up to $5,000. The program had 4 financial institutions that were participating, and the city would back up to $2,500 for those up to $5,000 loans, up to 50% of them. And to date, we've had 28 approved, 16 have been approved by the banks. 6 of the projects have actually been completed. It's gone, I believe, at least certainly from my perspective, it's gone extremely well. We've been very pleased with it. And these are houses that might otherwise have gotten worse and worse and worse, and that's a huge thing. And so it's I think a hugely successful program, and we're really proud of it. And we really appreciate it's the kind of thing that's great when the city and the local banking institutions work together like this too. Hopefully, it's been good for them. It's certainly been good for citizens. The feedback we've gotten from citizens that have participated is they've just been really extremely happy. In fact, I think Eva wrote a newspaper article about 2 months ago, and a couple people there that were interviewed were talking about how great it was and how happy they were. So it's been really a good program, and I hope we continue to do it. Long time.
Did you have some?
Yes, I do.
Mr.
I want to thank Mr. Cecil because really he took the lead in it. He helped me tremendously with it, so I really want to thank him. And I think that all the banks who participated took a chance, and I don't think anybody has defaulted on those loans because we have really not, the city has not paid anything, and I thank you again for doing that because it's greatly appreciated. And I think just goes to show, initially I think when we were discussing, we were thinking whether anybody would come and ask for these loans or not, but it's quite impressive to see so many people have come forward. And I think we should continue on this program as long as the banks are okay. I think we had thought of doing it for 1 year to begin with.
I would recommend, I think we did it at the end of the year, Dr. Hushman.
Yep.
I would recommend we get together and have another meeting.
Okay.
Participating banks in the city, and let's talk about how we want to move forward.
Okay.
We haven't done that, it's been several months. So why don't we do that here the next few weeks?
All right. So if we can set that up, we'll meet again and see where we stand with it. So thank you again.
Great. All right. Any other discussion from the council on this item? I see it's working so well and that people are taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good thing. Ms. Ellis, we'll go back.
To number 18.
Yes.
Receive update on residential tax abatement program and discuss possible changes to include other areas of the city and provide direction to staff.
Can I say something about this to begin with, Mr. Frierson?
Sure.
Again, this program was started by the council a couple of years ago. And I think we've not had a tremendous amount of luck with this project as much as we have had with other. There are, I think, 6 or 8 or something like that that have helped. And so I had put this item on the agenda with the thought that maybe if we could use the same set of rules, the 20% and the standard tax abatement that we had discussed about, but extend it to throughout the city now and see if that helps, because there is certainly other potential areas, and if we can get more rooftops, we'll get more property taxes. So yes, we wanted to encourage it in the northwest side of Paris, but I think at this point, just to encourage more development, it would be worthwhile to do it citywide rather than just to do in those areas. And that is the only recommendation that I have on this subject, really.
Okay. John, you want to, or Ken, you want to kind of take us through this? Some weren't on the council at that point. So.
Sure. Just to follow up on what Councilmember Hashmi had to say, this program was started by City Council in October 2013. The program was to encourage new development in districts 1 through 5, single-family residential development, either in the form of new structures, new single-family structures, or additions or renovations to existing single-family structures that were at least 20% of the appraised value of the existing structure, an addition to that, an improvement to that. To date, we've had 8, 2 that are still pending approval but are in the works, and 6 that have already been approved. And in some cases, those houses have already been built. 3 of those projects were built in District 2, 2 projects in District 1, 2 in District 5, and 1 in District 4. That's 8 total. That's it.
Okay. All right. Any discussion from the council? Obviously, Dr. Hashmi, this item placed by you, and so if you
I
have
would
anything
like to
further
make a
expand.
motion on this item that that we give directions to the city staff to bring back to the city council as a proposition that the entire city be included in this program rather than the above-mentioned districts.
Okay. There's a motion from Dr. Hashmi. Is there a second on this? Anyone? Second from Ms. Lancaster. Any further discussion from the council? No? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. All right, Ms. Ellis?
Item
You find-
19, discuss and take action on changing the language of citizens forum.
Dr. Hashmi, you actually asked for this item to be put on as well.
Yes,
so-
I did, and I think it was in response to Ms. Mosley's request. She had requested because somewhere along the line, the thing that is generally read for the Citizens Forum changed. And she was concerned about it and wanted it as an agenda item, so I've put it on. And to some extent, I do agree because with her that the council did not approve a change of language that was said before the Citizens Forum. And multiple times through the meetings, the thing that is said before the Citizens Forum was changed. Whatever the reasons might have been, if we want to adopt that language, then I think the council should be notified and we should all vote on it. But I think arbitrarily to change the language, which has been continued for a fairly long period of time, for a number of years, I don't think that's a fair thing to do.
Can you specifically say what the changes have been made and when this occurred?
Well, Matt reads it, so he should be in a better position, or if we can pull up the old ones that have been read in the last few meetings.
So you're saying it's different than the way you used to read it?
Yes.
When you were mayor, correct?
Well, not just when I was mayor, even prior to me. Whatever was read was
Yes.
what you read today.
Sure. In fairness, that, I think, read something different twice, I think, maybe.
I do not know the exact number of
Right,
times.
I believe it was twice. And I quite honestly don't think anything was offensive there. Obviously, I would never intend to offend anyone. What I, just to address it quite frankly, what I don't want to be is the person that has to say, you know, we're all here to be respectful. I mean, the Citizens Forum is for people to bring actual issues before the city council. And we had sort of meandered into, in some cases personal, but we weren't really bringing issues before the council. And an idea that I had was to maybe change the wording to make it a little bit more specific or clear, I guess. You know, I don't think anything in that was out of bounds, quite honestly. So I don't understand the, I don't understand the heartburn on this, but.
Okay, well, I'll try to explain the heartburn on this. It is not the mayor's prerogative to change the language which is being continuously said. If you want to change that language, I do not have any problem with it, but I think you should get the consent of other members of the council to change specific language.
Mr. Godwin, is there any precedent or any reason that the council has to approve that, or no?
Well, the answer is that's up to the council. If the council wants to approve those kinds of things, you can adopt rules that do so. If you don't have those kinds of rules, which is what I think Dr. Hashmi is asking to do, if you don't have that kind of a rule, then the moderator of a meeting kind of says what he or she wants, as long as it doesn't break any rules. So
Right.
the issue is whether you want to adopt a rule or not. Right now, you do not have one, but you can adopt one, certainly.
And I have no problem if you want to introduce that language in it, but I think the council should approve it.
Any other discussion from any one of the council?
I wanna,
Sure.
I wanna
Mr.
get this clear, that you said you changed the language because somebody was, mostly it was getting out of hand, they were just kind of trying to put down people. Is that right?
Well, there were a couple different things, and not, certainly not to pick on anyone, but between the time frame to try to hold to the 2 minutes and to make sure that we were indicating what the Citizens Forum is actually for, I thought there might be some more specific wording that could be more effective.
But you got, that's the only thing you did, it was just word that so people wouldn't.
What I thought was a little bit more clear.
Well, there were other things in it. One of the things which I remember is that it said that if the citizens have a complaint about something, they should address it to that individual council member, not in the public forum, which I don't think is the right approach. I think if somebody wants to address their complaint to the whole council, they should be allowed to address it to the whole council. It doesn't have to be specific to that council member from the district that they are in.
Okay, you're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Any other discussion?
I personally like trying to bring a little bit of civility to some of this, because I agree it's gotten out of hand to a point, and not only are we in a situation where that we have to listen to some of this that's unnecessary and cannot respond, but other members of boards and or commissions have to put up with it as well. And I just thought it was sort of trying to bring a little bit of civility to the forum.
So then we should change it. I mean, I have no objection in changing it.
Well, but I don't want, I think we have more important things to do.
I can see it both ways, really. I mean, I can understand what Dr. Hockey's saying, and I can understand why you did it. I do. I understand both ways. What's the right way? I don't know. It don't hurt to have a rule, I guess. It don't hurt to have it like it is. I don't know the right way.
Okay. Ms. Lancaster?
Well, I don't ever want to appear that we're trying to keep citizens from speaking civilly what's on their mind and their problems. And I think we work supposedly as a council should be addressed to the council.
Okay. Any other?
Would you read what you presented or prior to this opening up the public forum tonight?
Tonight?
Yeah.
Just reread it?
Just reread it.
That's the standard one that has always been read.
That's the standard.
Well, just read it.
Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council members, or employees, as well as individual personnel appeals, are not appropriate for the citizens forum.
Well, I'll make a motion that we adopt that as a rule until the next city council wants to do different.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
That rule right there?
What
Just
you
read
read?
that?
Mm-hmm.
Just read that one right there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, great. Ms. Ellis, item number 20.
Receive presentation and discuss U.S. statistics on economic growth and job creation over the last 5 years and the effect on Paris, Texas.
Dr. Hoshman?
Yes, I put it on. These were just some interesting statistics that I'd seen. There's nothing very great about it, but since I was reading it, I thought that it would be interesting for all of us to know. So they were kind of 11 facts that I had seen, and these were not personal opinions. These were just things that have been verified, and I'm just going to read some of them. The rest are there if anyone wants to go through them. The first one, that there has been 63 straight months of economic expansion in America. That includes 54 months of private sector job growth. This was listed in Forbes magazine of September of 2014. The second was, we were currently enjoying 54 months of straight private sector job creation. This is and I really didn't know it myself, that is the longest ever period of job creation since the Department of Labor has been keeping statistics. The third one was that unemployment rate has dropped from 1% in October of 2009 to 5.9% and projected to reach 5.4% by the summer of 2015. This was again in the Forbes magazine. And I think the unemployment rate goes along in Paris too. It's probably not as low as what it is throughout the nation, but I think it's still dropped from about 10% to 7.8 or something like that. So it's not too far away, but it's there. It has gone down. And number 4 was that the stock market continues to set new records. Since early 2009, the Dow Jones Industrial Average reached an all-time high of 17,098 in August of 2014. And since most Americans have their 401k retirement investments in stock market, it affects millions of middle-class Americans. The other thing which I found which was most interesting was number 5, that the federal budget deficit has been shrinking since 2009 and has been reduced by 2/3. This is in part of the creation of 10 million more jobs since 2009. There have been billions of dollars collected in tax revenue and has reduced the federal tax deficit from $1.4 trillion to $500 billion, roughly. And this is in part of creation of the 10 million jobs. Number 6, the spending has increased only by 1.4%, the lowest it has ever been since President Eisenhower. Again, I'm not sure about what it was at that time, but Forbes magazine described it. The other interesting thing which was there was that the taxes for 95% of Americans whose incomes are less than $400,000 a year are less, and for those above $400,000, that is 2% of the population, are higher. Another interesting fact, dependence on foreign oil has shrunk due to record domestic oil production, and I found it very interesting to see that we export more oil now than we import. The other thing which I may be a little bit opposed to, but it's still there, is that that currently, which is this year, there are 7 million more Americans with health insurance than before, and Medicare Trust Fund, which was supposed to essentially be gone by 2016, now has been stabilized till 2030. And Affordable Care Act has been slowing the rate of increase of healthcare costs through insurance rates of some of the U.S. Again, my insurance rate has gone up, so I don't know, but these are still interesting statistics that Forbes magazine published, so I found that it was pretty interesting to read them. Nothing else really significant on this.
Okay.
But you did read that the unemployment rate here was reported as 5.5, down from 7.2 or 7. So that's good.
Yeah.
The most recent.
Yeah.
So I guess Obama's doing a good job, I guess.
I'm not sure whether he's doing a good job or not, but
we don't have that on the agenda, so we'll move that along for another time. With that, we'll go to item 22.
Discuss and act on a policy for creation of reinvestment zones within the city of Paris.
This is just a follow-up to the discussion you had at your December council meeting. I put together a kind of a short policy to cover the basic reasons that you would approve an investment policy. By having a policy like we talked about, it would help us to ensure that we have, treat different applicants equitably and that we're consistent from year to year and from applicant to applicant.
Okay. Any discussion on this item from the council? No?
I thought it sounded good. I think you did a good job. Thank you. Can be applied in a lot of ways.
Any other discussion? Is there a motion to be made on this item?
I make a motion to approve it and adopt that policy.
I'll second.
Have a motion from Dr. Grossnickel, a second from Mr. Plata. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Ellis, item 23. looks
Receive
like.
and discuss update of 2013 bond water and sewer line replacement projects and necessitated road repairs.
As you know, Contract A is complete. That was about a $1.8 million project that was all in the southwest part of the city. Contract B, which is somewhat in the southwest, mostly in the northwest, is under construction right now. And the big project, the about $22 million is the last estimate I heard, B2, C, D, and E. That's going to include downtowns and areas in northeast and southeast, both water and sewer. Is probably going to be bid in March. That's the current goal, unless that's changed in the last week or so. We do have a meeting with the engineers this Wednesday. Our once a month meeting is Wednesday of this week, I believe. But that's coming up hopefully in March. And then, of course, the final project beyond all of that is the Southeast Lift Station, which I've reported to you a few times before that we're pretty far along in the design, but we're not really sure what's going to happen with Paris Lakes or when it's going to happen with Paris Lakes. So we're kind of going slow on that right now. That'll be another project that'll be bid out by itself. We don't want to overbid, build, and we don't want to underbuild. We've got a potential large development out there close to the Southeast Lift Station. So that's where we are overall on those kinds of things. Of course, we've got the airport utility, which is part of the bonds as well. We talked about that here pretty recently. In fact, I guess at the last meeting we talked about that we're looking at maybe trying to pick up some folks over at Paradise Estates, and that would allow us to get rid of 3 lift stations if we're able to do that with sewer. I'm talking about sewer, Paradise Estates over there. Those folks have been annexed for quite a number of years, and they still don't have sewer service, and so we're trying to serve the airport and them all at the same time. So that's what we're working on with that project.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know anything about the Southeast Lift Station project. First time I've heard of it.
Okay. It's part of the $35 million worth of list of projects. Southeast Lift Station is too small and it doesn't function properly. And in fact, although not to go into the mechanics or the engineering of it, a lot of it, even though it's...
Where's it located?
It's southeast on close to the corner of the loop and...
beside Morningside.
No.
Yeah.
Is it the one close to Morningside? Is it the one which is like behind Morningside?
No, sir. It's actually south of where the Chris Foundation building's just built on Parcel Street, between that and the trail. It's actually just almost due south of it.
Okay.
Because of its undersized, we have a lot of problems there, and it even affects flow going all the way to the north. Some of the odor problems, in fact, up as far as Home Depot and that part down, we should be able to solve these by increasing the size of the Southeast Lift Station. So it's always been on our list of projects. It's gotten bigger than we expected, but it's one of those where we'll be solving some long-term problems and upsizing that, and also upsizing some lines going north from there.
So you're gonna make it bigger?
Correct. Significantly bigger. The issue is how big. We don't want to finish it and then the next day Paris Lakes says we're going to build all this stuff and it's too small, but we don't want to build it great big, and then Paris Lakes is not great big and we've built a whole bunch of stuff we never need. So we're just trying to kind of going slow on that. We've got plenty of other work, obviously, with the $22 million project coming up that we're taking our time on that now.
Any other questions, Mr. Gellman? Dr.
Yes.
Hashmi?
Yeah. A couple of questions. First of all, my first question is, are we on the timelines that we had? Are we ahead of them? Are we behind them?
We're a few months behind. Part of that, we kind of got behind, or not kind of, we did get behind when we had that one bid, of course, that we rejected all the bids. And we've been behind for about 3 or 4 months for that reason.
But we are not too far away from our timeline.
No, and if we're able to bid this big one out in March or April and we get good bids, let's keep our fingers crossed for the next few months, we'll catch up all at once, because some of, D and E, we're going to be farther on down the road. So we have the ability to catch up if that goes as well as we hope, with the exception of the lift station.
Okay. And as far as the pricing is concerned, we are still under what we had thought, and we haven't gone over
That's
on
correct.
anything.
That's correct.
Most of the bids that we have gotten are under the ones that we estimated.
Both of the projects for which contracts have been awarded have been a good bit less, in fact, than what was estimated.
And so we have some savings there.
That's correct.
And this is in spite of the issue that developed on Church Street with the road.
Well, Church Street was not.
Well, that was not part of this.
Right.
Okay. But the money was not, the bond money was not used for road repairs there.
No, that was the TWD, Texas Water Development Board money. So no money was used for the roads there other than the horrific patching job.
Okay.
Any other comments?
I
Yep.
mean, I think that's a great thing,
It's going really well, and,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a mess, especially we get this big one going up, and we talk about digging up 2 blocks all the way around the plaza downtown, and Pine Bluff being completely torn up, but it's gonna be great when it's done, so and water supply, water quality is gonna be so much better, and so many fewer leaks, so it's a great thing, and, we're trying to, citizens approve that, we're really trying to meet their expectations.
Yeah.
I don't even have my phone close to me. It's
Okay.
Mr. Pickle.
No, it's not me. I turned it off before.
Okay, thank you, John. Item number 24, Ms. Ellis.
Discuss status of city roads and repairs and program of work.
I put this item
Yeah,
on the
and I-
agenda too.
And I don't know if this is the kind of information you were specifically asking for, but road maintenance is a cyclical sort of a thing. Crack sealing is something you do this time of the year. In fact, I got a list just today of the roads that are being crack sealed. It makes them ugly, but it makes them last a lot longer too. And of course, you can do some kind of minor repairs this time of the year, almost regardless of weather. And then chip seal or seal coating work is done in warm weather months. And we've got a number of road projects that are on a list for next June, July, and then we've gotten some suggestions from some council members about that extra money that was approved as well. So,
I wanted to discuss this a little bit further, I think for future, and that is that I think once we are done with the infrastructure work, we should concentrate on the roads and see, where we go with, how far we can go with that. I know that the current bond money is not allocated because that was not the language of the bond, but I do think that once the infrastructure is repaired, then I think as a council we should think about it and see whether, with the residents' permission, whether we want to do another bond election and put it on a ballot to see if the residents of the community would agree to another bond. I'm sure if you do the bond, there will be some rise in taxes if that happens. But at some point we do need to think about it and discuss, because we can keep allocating 100,000 or 200,000 or 300,000, but really it will not get us anywhere.
That's right.
So I think if we want to think, particularly in all those areas where the infrastructure and the water and sewers are done, and once we have seen that there's no leaks and there's no breakages in the areas that are repaired, then I think as a council we should come back and let the residents decide if they are interested in doing a bond for road repairs, so that, and if we do that, then we should clearly identify what areas are going to be done. And I think in that case, the whole city should be taken, as much as we've tried to support Northwest or Northeast Paris, but I think there are plenty of other roads. And since everybody contributes to the taxes and to the bond, I think it should be a citywide thing that we should ask the residents and see what their feeling is, if they would agree to a bond or not. The worst case scenario is they'll not agree and we will not want it.
Right.
But I think let the residents decide if they would be interested in going further with road repair work.
okay.
John, how does that tie into, we discussed a little bit at the last meeting about the bond money that's going to become available.
Yeah,
soon.
we can sell about 3.5 to 5, somewhere in there, without affecting taxes. And then, so that would not require a citizen's vote. Now, you can't have the citizen's vote on that, but you don't have to. But like you said, Dr. Hoshmi, if you're going to raise a tax for that purpose, then you're going to want to have an election for more than that. So it's kind of two parts of the same thing. You could go up to 5 million without affecting taxes, and if you wanted to go 10 or 15 or 25, then you need to have a tax increase, and certainly you'd want to have a vote of the public on that. You can, maybe on the smaller one, but you don't have to.
And I understand the fact, but again, 5 million, when you really look at it, doesn't get you too far on when it comes to doing roads. It doesn't get you too far.
It would be about 2 roads.
Yeah, and that is why I'm saying that if we are to really think about it, interest rates are still low, they haven't gone up that much, that, and if there is one time to think about it, yes, we may have 5 million to do without taxes, but I think it requires a lot more than just $5 million for that.
I certainly agree it's worth talking about.
So,
people
and I'm not saying do it or not do it, I'm just saying that I think the council should seriously put it on the agenda and discuss pros and cons of it as to how much it'll cost us, and let the residents decide after that what they want to do.
Is there a scope of work that's in engineering now as far as what it really would amount to?
Well, we have a whole road plan
Yeah,
which
we had
was
that-
given to us.
We had that plan that KSA did a year and a half ago, and it's got estimated
Right.
cost in that.
But
But that's
that-
as far as anything's
But
gone
that
on
was skewed, what we found out later, as far as the types of streets and practicality, was it not?
Not that I recall.
No, I think their engineering was good. What was skewed was the fact that where we had discussed about road repairs on infrastructure repairs, that was where the skewed part was. It was not, their engineering was quite good as far as the
Yeah.
total number of roads and the roads that needed to be repaired.
The issue was that they were suggesting we could, but we
Yeah.
didn't want to, spend about 2/3 of the water and sewer
Right.
money on roads.
Yeah.
Right.
But we, and
So
then,
that
and we
was
talked
where
about,
the
let's come
problem-
back and talk about roads as a separate issue, and maybe it's time to do that, so.
Okay.
Again, citizens say yes, they say no, they're the ones paying the bill, so they should have that right.
Right, absolutely.
If we do talk about it though, one that plainly stated that taxes will go up.
Yeah,
So
and in
everybody
fact, if you
will
have a
know.
bond election for that purpose, it actually has to say it on the ballot, so yeah,
Yeah.
it becomes extremely plain because that's state law.
Okay.
But I mean, there are certain portions, even in northwest and northeast Paris, particularly where curbs are created, and I mean, those areas really look very nice, you know. So I think there's definitely improvement if you drive down towards those areas of town. I'm not saying they're done, but I mean,
Right.
it's improved than what it used to be.
Absolutely. Any other discussion from the council?
I would like to put that item of roads at some future meeting as a properly discussed item with proper, with the engineering plan being re-given to us, with the estimate of costs given to us, with the possibility of taxes that we may have to encounter and things like that, so that it becomes completely black and white to us to begin with, and then to the residents of the community to see what people want to do about it.
All right. Move on to item number 25.
Convene into executive session pursuant to Section 551072 of the Texas Government Code to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. If you will state the time,
Sure,
please.
and it's now 6:32, so we will move into executive session. It is now 7:07, and we are back in open session. And that moves us to item 26, which is to reconvene. Reconvene in open session, possibly take action on those matters discussed in executive session. We discussed the acquisition of potential land for an EMS station, and then also land acquisition as it pertains to the West Paris Trail. So, me too. I understand. With that being said, is there any action to be taken by the council on this item?
I'd like to make a motion that we allow the city manager and the EMT director to initiate discussions on preliminary acquisition of land for the EMT station.
Okay, we have a motion from Dr. Hashmi. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Lancaster. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, motion carries there. Any other motions to be made? Any action to be taken further?
Yes, don't we need to make a motion on?
Well, that's up to you, Mr. Pickle.
That we instruct the city attorney to initiate possible condemnation proceedings. What was the word we were saying?
Acquisition.
Acquisition, yes.
And condemnation. if
And
necessary.
condemnation if necessary on property as it refers to the West Trail project.
Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Pickle. Is there a second on this?
I'm going to need to recuse myself from that.
Coward.
No, I mean, I should. I should.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, second, Mr. Plata. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And Ms. Lancaster is recused. Okay, motion carries there as
Thank
well.
you.
All right. That moves to item 27.
So moved. Oh, sorry.
There is one thing on this future thing.
Yes.
When are we going to have the list of the properties to be sold? You know, the future properties that were going to come up
For the tax sale?
for the tax sale.
That's in the process right now. We sold 6 or 8 last Tuesday, and I'll get you that
Will you give us an
tomorrow.
update?
But there's a whole 600 properties which were coming up.
Okay, yeah, I'll get you, okay, let me write that down.
And then that will fall into what we would like to see put on the agenda at some point as far as segregating those funds for those properties.
Okay. Any other items to be considered?
Did you want to bring up the possible special meeting?
Ken?
Yeah. We're going to bring forward an annexation to the city council. I think most of y'all know about this on the Stillhouse Road, a future annexation for about 95 acres there on the east side of Stillhouse, north of the loop. Includes the Skill Nursing Center there, across from the high school, North Mar High School campus. And to do that, we have to have 2 public hearings in a 20-day window, and one of them we can have on the 23rd of February, which is a normal meeting. The other one we need to have in the preceding week, and I just wanted to, we needed to get a feeling if you all could meet on the 16th of February, which is a Monday, for that first public hearing.
Okay. And so Janice will be kind of polling everybody to take care of that. Okay. Any other items? Item number 28.
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Pickles, second.
I
Anybody?
oppose the motion.
Second, Ms. Lancaster. All those in favor say aye.
Hey, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.